I'm Mark Seifter.
And I'm Linda Zayas Palmer.
And this is Arcane Mark.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Arcane Mark. We are playing King of the Castle today, and we are going to, and any of you here on Twitch can join in.
It looks like I'm a count.
Mark
But
the
it's hard
Pretender.
to see because we're looking at it on.
Yes,
like,
I'm going to go ahead and
small
open it up
version
here.
of the
Yes,
screen.
you're Mark the Pretender. You're alongside Gustavo. We have Creative Burst, Math Guy Dave, and Fameless, who are in here so far.
It
We
looks
have
like a lot of people
five
have wound up back on their original teams, except Math Guy Dave, who's been sent to like every possible team.
faction. Yes, that is true. Well, Creative Burst is one of the special
That's true,
folk
but
who
I'm
has
pretty
the
sure
game and gets to
Gustavo
choose.
was a
Gustavo
count
was
last
definitely
time.
a count last time.
I did
yes.
not get to choose.
That's true. So, and Mark the Pretender is a count. You wanted to be a count, right? You were
I thought I
talking
could
about
be
how
a
it'd be
count.
fun. I love that you're Mark the Pretender. That's great. So let's give people a little more time to go ahead and join in before we get started. Of course, folks can join throughout the process of the game too.
That's correct.
So I am Queen Mark II of the Arcane Dynasty. The reason that my name is Queen Mark II is that when we played this game last week, King Mark was only given the option to name his lovely daughter Mark II.
Yes, it was the only option that was allowed.
Yes.
It was so weird, but now we have Queen Mark II.
But you know, look, I have like kind of the wavy-ish brown hair. I
That's
look
true.
like I could be descended from you.
Yeah, you probably could have changed your appearance, but now this is what you look like now, Queen Mark II.
It's funnier this way.
Is there any way, like, it's interesting that they just didn't, like, rebalance the teams by sending one of the chiefs into the grandees, because...
I don't know. Well, there's balanced soul and noble votes.
yeah, so that will mean that the grandee is gonna get to vote, double votes, unless somebody else joins. So you can go to kotc.app and put in the code YERP to join.
So I know that
On the other hand, I think pretty much everyone has, who's watching it now, a lot of us have joined, so.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get going then, and some other folks might join as we go.
And join the grandees.
So I think I'm gonna try not to be a tyrant like you.
Just don't say you want to be a great queen. Wait, it doesn't even let you say what you want to be? Oh no, you're gonna have to, select one of
First,
these.
the path to victory.
Yes.
Your Majesty. Oh, I guess you should read the Spy Master.
Your
because I'm
Majesty,
queen now.
you have some big boots to fill, and with your father out of the picture, the nobles will be looking for any opportunity to replace you. When you die, how do you hope the kingdom will remember you?
I am going to say that I want to be a peacekeeper. Let's keep things stable, folks.
An admirable aim. I suggest over the next few years you focus on improving the kingdom's stability as much as possible.
After all, my tyrannical father was deposed by means unstated.
Once you have an heir, I will return to discuss how your ambition is progressing. Good luck, Your Majesty.
Ruler Mark II is totally valid model number, says Rico in chat. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Linda, can you scroll so that there's not, like, a cutoff on it? I
Like
don't know
there?
if that matters for everyone who's seeing it through the stream, though.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, of
'Cause
course.
before the left side of it was off.
Right,
We
right,
couldn't
yeah.
see what
I was
they-
trying to see the chat. But...
Oh, we got a Continued Your Dynasty for the First Time achievement.
Chancellor says, Your Majesty, it was an honor to serve your father, but now it's your time to wear the crown. As is tradition, the council will decide what happens at your coronation. Well,
Oh, yeah.
given that my father got dunked into the water at
Oh,
his
it gave
coronation,
the dialogue option. Should I change it to my
should
waterproof
I change it
robes
to my
then?
waterproof robes then?
It may
Maybe
be for the best,
Your
Your
Majesty.
Majesty. Now we call the nobles in, so the game remembered that
Yes.
we dunked King Mark. Well, now it's tradition to dunk King Mark. Wait, how do I get to cast my vote? Oh, I see the monarch. You have to use a special power.
I do special power. Let's see.
See what you want, Linda. Because throwing you into the river actually... So you can either choose to veto something so it can't be done, or put your vote in there so that it gets an extra vote.
Well, sure, why not throw me into the river?
Alright, you can hit start vote. I mean, that is what we did for Mark.
Also, it increases stability, which I like that.
Yes. On the other
Without
hand,
spending huge amounts of
we
money.
could do something else. Let's see. It would give But maybe we should invite foreign dignitaries. I mean, that would be cool.
I changed into my waterproof robes after all.
I think inviting foreign dignitaries would be fun.
Man, every option got voted
If
for.
anyone else votes for one of the twos, then we'll get it. Otherwise, oh, Linda's gonna break the tie for the one that she wanted.
Voting tied at 2. I say throw me into the river!
It's decided the queen will be thrown in the river.
And I'm not gonna protest because I voted for it.
And you knew it was gonna happen.
And so it begins.
You heavily influenced the thumb on the scale. Like, it was the one that got the least votes other than from you.
Correct.
The nobles pick you up and carry you out to the Treadwater River, hurling you into the shallow water with a cheer. When you climb back up the bank, soaking wet, the Chancellor steps forward and places the crown upon your head. Is it your imagination or some of the nobles' stifling giggles? Alright, what's the other one?
Council introduction. I will introduce myself to the chiefs of the north.
Alright.
Chief Math Guy Dave says, good luck in the days ahead, your majesty. You'll need it dealing with us lot. Count Gustavo, well, you're part of that fact sheet.
Yes.
You can read this one.
An honor to finally make your acquaintance, your highness. I was dismayed to hear of your father's passing. Grandee Finless, the only grandee, says, may the night god bless your reign, your highness. I trust you will conduct yourself with honor and faith.
And with that, the introductions are done. The council hall immediately fills with raised voices as the nobles argue. Is this what your father fought so hard for?
Alright, those may be the only events. In
So
this
it's
first
time to
season,
end
so
the
you can
season,
end the first
indeed.
season. Now we get our schemes!
Scheme time.
Scheme.
Frida of the Rico clan, notorious northern orator, stands precariously on a longhouse crossbeam, spitting as they speak.
The Rico clan is like always where I feel like these northern people who want to like destroy the kingdom with armies come
Yeah.
from.
I know, right? Chiefs of the North, we all know I should be on the throne, not this imposter Queen Mark II. How do we make that happen?
Alright, chiefs, and only chiefs, vote for an uprising by raising the kingdom's treasury, an intimidation by raising stability, which Linda wanted to do anyway, or a prophecy by raising authority. I think you should pick the one that's easier for you, but you can pick whichever one you think is coolest for your scheme. Only one chief has voted so far. Oh, 2. It's a tie.
Voting is closed. What does it do when it's a tie?
It randomly selected.
Chooses. I
And
see.
it randomly selected prophecy, the one that's harder for them. The North never takes the easy road. The chiefs plan to realize an ancient northern prophecy. Before the new queen rises, the kingdom will be ruled by a mad tyrant.
Wasn't that you?
To advance their scheme, the chiefs must raise authority to 5 or more in 2 seasons. It's already 5 or more. Let's lower it, everybody. That'd be funny.
Friend of the Mark the Pretender
dynasty, sinister reformed cultist leads delicately on a podium, speaking in a melodious voice. My fellow counts, in ancient times, the East was its own proud kingdom. We can bring back those days of glory, but not without the false Queen Mark II wears the crown. Alright, counts, this is us. We can either be a doppelganger by lowering our own defiance. I don't think we should try to lower stability. That's going to be hard when the queen is trying to raise stability.
I guess if you wanted to raise authority while the other people are also trying to raise authority, that could be interesting. I don't know what will happen with that.
Yeah, I guess so. Lowering our own defiance is hard enough. If 2 of us are trying to raise authority...
I mean, it's probably going to make it harder for me, because you're going to be like, authority! And when authority and stability
Yes, if the North is working together with us to raise authority, then...
Oh yeah, Rico totally agreed that Mark I was the Mad King. Alright, it's going to randomly decide. Doppelganger, lower own defiance.
The counts plan to swap the real queen for a perfect doppelganger. First, they must gain the trust of the spy master. To advance their scheme, the counts must keep defiance at 4 or less in 4 seasons.
Devi of the Fainless lineage, charismatic former priest, stands bathed in sunshine, droning on as in a daze. A false pretender occupies the throne while my claim is ignored. Grandees of the South, this is a stain on our honor. We must not allow it to go unanswered. The grandee must decide.
Whether to be a witch hunt? It's a witch
It's
hunt!
a witch hunt!
Having the highest faith should be a snap when, I guess us counts have these. Oh, right, because from last time we lowered the Grandee's faith down to 4. But
Yeah.
they have really, really high in the other stats. Like, their trade is outlandish from
But they definitely have the
Mark's
most
Dynasty.
faith, yes.
But they still have the most.
Yes. There's all sorts of heresy in the capital, and the grandees intend to expose it. First, they must ensure the South is beyond reproach. To advance their scheme, the grandees must be the region with the highest faith in 3 seasons. Your Majesty, these upstarts are saying they have a right to your throne. No doubt the nobles are already scheming to crown their region's preferred claimant. Warning, the monarch currently has no aid or continue to laws of the land.
You can choose your 3rd vote.
I don't necessarily want to stop the counter or do something where you have to confusingly, like, vote for the thing you don't want, so maybe I'll take swing vote.
Yeah, you can always get a new one later because all 3 of these were not very good. And you can replace swing vote with a new one
I liked
later.
the ones you had better last time.
Well, I had almost the same one of yours. But the 2 that you started with are good, just the 3 new ones.
An invitation sounds benign. Let's try that out.
Your Majesty, this year we'll be holding the winter feast in my clan hall, says Chief Rico. It will be an honor if you could attend.
Let's see. I look forward to it.
Ha! I can't wait. Winter feast is a special time of year. You'll see.
And Chief Rico has the proper Rico art with the wolf.
With the wolf.
Yes.
That's correct.
I'm glad it worked this time.
You'll see.
Well, that's ominous. Let's do a contentious sale.
Oh wow, the North is feisty right now. Your Highness, this is an outrage. Count Gustavo is trying to steal my bear from under my nose.
Gustavo, what do you have to say?
It's not his bear. I was about to buy this beast from an adventurer in the Tatterlands when Chief Creative Burst turned up shouting and raving about Skorinord.
And who is Skorinord?
The northern goddess of medicine and knowledge. The bear wears her mark on her brow, clear as day.
Tell me more about this bear.
She's a magnificent specimen. She'd be a great addition to my menagerie.
I suppose this is a matter for the council.
Mark my words, if this bear is not brought to the north where she belongs, there'll be trouble.
And make it double.
So the options we have are, if it's sacred, Chief Creative Burst should have the bear. Finders Keepers, Chief Gustavo could have the bear. Or encourage a bidding war between the 2 nobles.
I see, so it's gonna change their defiance one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, either of those is gonna take wealth, which is their wealth.
The blue, the north has a ton of people, so counts, we need all the help we can get to get this bear, which Gustavo literally found, and then is being poached away by the northerners. But they have 3 votes.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be hard.
I
to
think
stop that.
That it'll be less interesting if you guys just blast all of your money into this. But I actually don't really necessarily care enough.
Then
he's
you
one
can
of these,
save your
so I will
powers.
save my powers.
Alright, come on. I think that Count Gustavo should have the bear.
But of course it makes sense for the other one to be like, yes!
Wait, although, on the other hand, hold on. Yellow voted for bidding war, so purple, we need to vote for a bidding war too in order to...
Oh, I guess I could have put swing vote on this.
Oh, wait, no. Someone on blue actually voted for us to have the bear. So blue does not have an unbeatable advantage. Okay, then. In that case...
Mark, you haven't voted yet. Hurry.
Yes, I was waiting to see what happened.
I guess I could have done swing vote on that one. That one could have been an
There we
interesting
go.
swing vote.
Thanks to a defector, we get the bear. Good work. The Count excitedly purchased the bear. for an extortionate amount from the Tatterlands adventurer who can't believe her luck.
Count Gustavo
Count
spent
Gustavo lost
almost...
tons of money.
But you did get your defiance done.
And that now the chiefs are grumbling about not getting the bear. They lost their sacred symbol. There's little they can do. The bear turns out to be a fearsome creature with bright white fur and intent green eyes. And she's vast. Even on all fours, she stands taller than a wagon. She's transported to the east, sedated by special herbs. Count Gustavo anticipates sellout attendance at his zoo. There you go. And now, you get to choose your honor guard. You actually didn't do that in advance, so it's a good thing you didn't get attacked.
One evening, you're sitting up in bed, reading some paperwork, when a filth-encrusted peasant wanders into your bedchamber, as bold as brass. Hello, your match. Glad I finally found you. This bloody place is a maze. Mind if I take a seat? Who are you? Ah, me. Name's Quack and Tony, your match. Pleased to meet you. Listen, I got a bloody great idea for you. What if we tied a bunch of birds to a knight? I reckon you could field some aerial troops and totally dominate the battlefield. Before Quacking Tony can explain further, your marshal bursts into the bedchamber, sword drawn. Your Majesty, sorry it didn't come sooner. I had no idea where the palace watch are. Do you want me to kill this intruder? This is too funny not to click.
Whatever you say.
No, I want to hold a vote on his proposal.
It should be an experiment with tying birds to knights for the purpose of aerial combat. And we choose where the pilot program is. Or we say, no, this is incredibly stupid. No matter what happens, someone is going to get defiance due to the fact that you decide to do that.
Well, you know what?
What are you going to do?
Are
you going to veto the fact that it's incredibly stupid so that we have to do the pilot program somewhere? Because you could do that.
I could do that. I'm also considering... You know, Counts. Your defiance is getting a little low over there. I think...
Well, you have to click start vote.
I think I'm gonna say that we should do flying knights over there.
Guys, this is very stupid. This is incredibly stupid. This is so stupid. Come on, fellow counts. Let's vote for stupidity. Oh, we could have gotten a tie. Although I think actually Linda would have broken the tie.
I would have broken the tie. You know what I think is funny here is that we got two of the...
we wouldn't have gotten a tie.
Two of the blue people voted for this one, even though it lowers authority, which is what they need.
Yes.
They just thought it was so funny.
Yes. I was hoping that blue would vote along with us to just not do it because they needed authority.
Yes.
Now they don't have enough authority, which they previously
Under
did.
Quacking Tony's close supervision, a flock of ravens are tied to an eastern knight. Instead of flying, the knight is lost in a flurry of mad pecking and pooping. Quacking Tony insists you merely use the wrong type of bird. Further experiments are conducted with owls, eagles, geese, woodpeckers, and ostriches and little grebes before hundreds of eastern troops quit in disgust. As far as I'm concerned, this helps sabotage two of the...
It did. You somehow convinced
objectives.
the North to help sabotage themselves.
Yes. Needless to say, the whole thing is an embarrassing failure. Your Majesty, if that peasant had been a maniac with a crossbow, I dare think what could have happened. Quitter mindset. In chat. One thing's clear from this mess is that you need an honor guard who can actually keep you safe, not like the pathetic watch. Think carefully, Your Majesty. These guards' loyalties will be divided between you and their region. Of course, you could just hire foreign mercenaries. They'll be loyal to coin above all. Tell me about the northern ones. Bearded oafs with axes and no manners. They'll get drunk and cause trouble in the palace. No discipline at all, and I can't guarantee they won't run off on some random quest, but they're honorable and in a fight, unbeatable. Tell me about the Eastern Knights. The Order of Drowned Rose are highly respectable. They understand palace etiquette, and it's been years since they've fought in an actual battle. They mostly write poems these days. Tell me about the Southern Battle Nuns. Terrifying warriors, and they've sworn a vow of silence, so at least they won't spell state secrets. But their faith and loyalty is to the church above all, even your safety. What foreign mercenaries do you suggest? A band of fearsome fighters from the Tatterlands called the Battle-Bitten Brethren. They specialize in bodyguard work, but they're costly, and hiring foreigners will betray a lack of confidence in our kingdom's fighters. I made my decision. Could take my authority down by 1 more, but that could be dangerous, and it's expensive.
You could choose not to have an honor guard and get assassinated the moment you're in a contest that would normally the honor guard would get fired.
No, that's okay.
You could hire someone else then.
I think... Well, we saw the Southern Nuns last time.
And the Eastern Knights.
And
We
the
only
Eastern
didn't
Knights,
hire the
so
Northern
let's go ahead
Warriors.
and try hiring the Northern Warriors. That should balance out the Defiance a little better.
They'll make arrangements at once.
The warrior heroes arrive a few weeks later. They swagger in with big grins and bigger axes, belching and singing and roaring out unsavory jokes. One of your courtiers faints.
That should be it for the season.
So we can now end the season. Nobles use personal
Oh.
wealth to build on buildings. Only the 2 highest funded will be built.
What kind of buildings can we get? We
So,
can
you
raise
can
our
increase
military
authority,
or lower our own farming.
Decrease stability, decrease farming, raise military, raise faith, or decrease trade.
So we can screw over Linda if we all build a prison in the chief area.
So the Grandies are
chiefs
definitely
can-
going to want the faith increaser since they want to make sure they have the most faith.
They already have it though, but that's
And
true.
the Chiefs are going to want the
The
authority,
authority
increaser.
booster, because it will put them to their threshold for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
we can hit start auction when you're ready. And we counts don't really need either of the things that can be built in our areas, so we could save our money or see what happens. Also, we all kind of want to lower stability, but maybe not enough to win the auction. We're a little bit poor over on the count's side because of the fact that
Well, fortunately, it seems like the
the
seems
top
like the other
two are gonna be
factions
built.
yeah, the other factions are very afraid that someone's going to come in and snipe with all their money because they put in a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we on the counts do have enough money that we could snipe the prison to lower the stability of Linda if we really wanted to. But I feel like that would just take because Gustavo only has 250 from the bear, I think that would take too much of our money to do it. If someone else had put anybody into the prison, I might have considered it.
Time's up. It was a very decisive decision. Those 2 buildings are funded. Authority and faith up.
All right. Now there's...
In the south, there is the deceased.
Is that another ghost?
The elderly Grandi Dorinda, cousin many times removed of Grandi Ada, died in her sleep last week. She was nearly 90, would you believe?
Oh wow, that's like Dorinda of Linda previously.
Yes. Better end than most of us get. Indeed, your majesty, she stayed at home in the south most of the time enjoying herself, but she could have spent more time in her accounts. She died without a will and the nobles were scrabbling for her estate. Grandi Dorinda was my relative. I wrote to her at least once a year. Of course the estate should be mine. My late great-grandfather used to play backgammon with her. He swore he intended to leave it to our family. By the 9th, that's a pitiful claim.
So we can either give it to Grandi Ada, give it to Chief Baal, redistribute the estate among the southern peasants, which raises trade. That's how the South has such good trade already. Or claim the estate for Linda's treasury.
I think
Linda
I should
votes
get
to
more
claim
money.
the estate for Linda's treasury. Linda can
I
take the
agree with
time.
myself.
And the loyalist counts. Look how undefiant we are to you. Wagons rolling from Grandi Dorinda's estate laden with expensive fur coats, old chalices, and antique ceramics. All these new riches crowd the treasury but give it a charming atmosphere.
The queen deceived me. Greedy queen, they're saying in chat. Look, I I don't think either of those claims about like I wrote to her once a year,
I
played backgammon with her or whatever.
It's actually not uncommon if there was literally no will that like someone
Important to
authority
find a
figure
spouse
might
sooner rather than later.
might seize it. Who are you interested in?
I'm interested in men. We'll send out messengers to the most influential noble families in the kingdom. Let's see what they have to offer. Let's see who is a pillar of the community over here.
Grand Ada says, Your Majesty, I regret to have to bring this matter to you, but there's no other way. We've been tracking a southern criminal who's wanted in conjunction with a number of high-profile incidents back home. We thought she'd slipped the net until recently when we discovered she fled into the east a number of years ago. But the counts are refusing to let us investigate further.
Who is this criminal?
We don't know her real name, but the peasants call her One-Eyed Penny. She's lied, cheated, and murdered her way halfway across the south. Wait a moment. Are you talking about Gold Touch Penny? She's a pillar of the community back in Rudgrad. She arrived a few years ago from the south and used her wealth to invest in local businesses and set up an orphanage. Everyone loves her. Surely you jest. Gold Touch Penny? This woman is a bloodthirsty criminal and must be punished. This is just a wonderful person who the South is persecuting for heresy because of their trumped up charges. They think any strong, independent woman is a witch. That's obviously the South's way with their religious fervor. So, Linda, you can either do swing votes, you can veto, or you can just let the vote go. The choices are to summon her to the capital to answer to the Queen's justice, send her back to the South, or let her stay in the East under the protection of the counts.
This is tricky. Either of these is going to advantage one of those two factions.
That's correct.
But
however,
I think that trade up is probably better than trade down.
that's usually true, since if you get low enough trade, you can get some catastrophes.
Let's put swing votes into this, and that way we can see people can switch around if they want.
All right. Oh my goodness, one of our accounts betrayed us. How does swing votes work? It
You can change your votes, I think. If you
change your votes later on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, everybody's voting for the South. How does the swing vote go?
I think it let you change your vote.
Oh, let me change it even now, so the purple could have changed back to change it to us. Not that we had a chance. I see. It lets you swing them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It lets you change your vote.
But Gold Touch Penny sits my cat every Wednesday. Who's going to look after Pussykins now?
I'm sorry, Count, but she needs to face justice. The families of her victims deserve that much. The council's decision parent too is a fair and just queen, but without Penny's money and influence, several businesses in Redguard go bust.
End season. Not Penny.
I mean, I guess it makes sense because that was plus authority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So all the blue did it, and then yellow wanted to do it because it was their criminal. So that's the end. You can end.
End season, yes. Interpreting the prophecy.
Far to the north, where snows blanket the landscape and wolves howl in the night, the chiefs uncover an ancient prophecy foretelling the rise of a tyrant queen and the warrior who will overthrow her. A congregation of God speakers huddle around the tablets, detailing the supposedly ancient story, whispering excitedly. Praise Morgana, the tablets are genuine. Then the gods are good, and we are blessed. Frida will be our queen. All hail the Lord Render! Cheers circle the clan hall. A mug of ale is tipped over Frida's head. The influence of the old gods is spreading. We must ensure we keep the old ways of the North alive, and surely Morgana will bless us with the power to crown Frida. For the next stage of the chief's scheme, they must lower their faith to 4 or less in 4 seasons. Okay, that's super easy.
Yes, because they're faith.
Okay. Uh-oh. Now Linda can tax.
I can do taxes. Let's see how your wealth is going overall. So it looks like you have...
The It doesn't really matter for our wealth. It matters if you want more treasury. Of course she does that.
You have the most money, and I want you to be more defiant.
No, but I usually used it only to get myself more treasury and also try to help with defiance. Oh no, not our defiance.
Well, that's the option I have that moves the noble farther away. Let's see.
We're so close to not being that defiant.
Let's check for eligible options over here.
One eligible young man for each of the kingdom's 3 regions. Choose wisely. You'll be securing a powerful alliance.
Yeah, I know.
Chancellor leads you to the Great Hall, where they've arranged portraits on easels. For each is covered by a cloth.
Wait, I don't even get to meet them?
No time for sentiment. Just need a match that fits your station and suits your political needs. They whisk the cloths from each portrait. This is Torgare, firstborn son of the Northern Baal 42 clan. He's your typical northern lad, big, brawny, and honest, in the same way an axe to the face is honest. Strangely enough for Northerner, he's an enthusiastic convert to the worship of the 9th god. He was already engaged once, but it didn't last. No one's sure why.
Huh. That could be really interesting with the fact that they're trying to lower faith.
It's probably not going to come up, at least in my think, but this is Nicholas, the eldest son of the Eastern Lucinda dynasty. I'm not sure why the artist made him look so severe. Just a trick of the light, perhaps. Spends most of his time indoors, poring over musty tomes. He's obsessed with his family legacy.
He's an interesting candidate.
Finally, from the southern Katano, the eldest son of the Ada lineage. He's reputed to have an ego the size of the sun, but there's nothing wrong with confidence, right?
Yeah, not interested.
He's been in more duels than I can count, and won them all. All his duels have been practice, he says, for a final showdown on the horizon. What do you think? Of course, by picking a candidate, you'll anger the other regions, but you'll gain a lifelong alliance.
Let's pick Targir of the North and see what happens, because I just think that's funny.
Yep, this is why I did not want to do the scheme where we had to keep our own defiance down, because it's really, really hard to control for that. Whereas the authority one, we could have colluded with the chiefs.
But maybe that will cause their faith to go up, which would be.
No, but like our defiance is not even close now.
Your Highness, I fear our menagerie is failing to thrive. We thought the bear would be the star of the show, but she just sits in her enclosure looking sad. No one wants to see her.
Of course she's sad. She's meant to roam the frozen tundra, not being harangued by your bats flying around her head. Actually, we wondered if she'd like some company. Perhaps the Tatterlands would yield another bear of her type. I think we need to find a companion for this bear. It's like with pandas, if you keep the panda alone, it's really depressing.
I feel like the chiefs are already pretty happy. Let's get a friend for the bear. I'm gonna vote friends for bears.
Bear needs a friend. Then we can have baby bears at the menagerie. The voting has closed. Find the bear a companion. Counts contact the adventurer from the Tatterlands once more, who returns having lost an eye but gained a large sedated bear. Once the second bear is safely installed in the enclosure, both beasts cheer up. People flock to come to Gustav's menagerie to lay eyes on these majestic creatures. He's gone from 50 to 350.
Oh, I thought that was gonna increase the defiance of the North.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I wanted your defiance to be above 4, but I don't want to get too high, because that could get dangerous.
Yes, if we do, we actually do only have 3 military, but if we do a rebellion, we could attack you.
Winter Feast. After weeks of leading your baggage train along perilous mountain roads, you finally arrive at the snow-swept clan hall of Chief Rico.
I do not trust him. He was being very ominous about this.
The hall is crammed with all chiefs of the north, sitting cheek to cheek against like tables groaning under the weight of food and ale. Hopefully my decision to pick Northern Guards isn't about to stab me in the back. Welcome, your majesty, to my humble hall. Take a seat and grab a drink. It is customary at Winter Feast to exchange gifts with the host. What did you bring? I don't need to lower their defiance.
So the cheapest one that doesn't... pajamas is the cheapest one that doesn't lower their defiance, right?
Yeah.
The Wars gives Rico money.
Nah, that's fine.
Wait, does it cost you more or less?
It cost me more, but that's not like a ton.
Pajamas.
I'll give him a warhorse.
Look at that beauty, a fine addition to my stables. Thank you, your majesty. After that, the feast lasts long into the night. The fires roar, the bards sing songs of the old days, and a lake of ale is consumed. A couple of hours in, you are extremely, extremely drunk, a little merry, or still stone cold sober.
I'll be a little merry, but I don't trust getting drunk in a situation
As
like
Winter
this.
Feast draws on and the snow piles up outside the doors, the mood in the hall turns raucous. Your memory is botchy, but you distinctly recall...
Song time!
The chiefs roar alongside you, full-throated, as you sing the stirring battle songs of the north long into the night. They are now loyal to you. Next morning, the chiefs are scattered around the hall, groaning and nursing their hangovers. Your own hangover isn't too bad, but the thought of the voyage home makes you wince. You bid farewell to the chiefs and begin the long, perilous journey back to the capital.
Nothing terrible happened.
Hey!
I feel like maybe because their defiance
I
was
guess
low.
you can end season.
In a distant castle.
Yeah, we failed ours because...
In a picturesque castle overlooking the southern city of Serena, two grandees lie back to enjoy the sun.
Praise be, the whispers of our plan have reached the peasants, and they are in an uproar. They call for the sins of the queen to be laid bare. Faith has risen to steadfast. I already have leads on information from inside the palace that we can use against the queen. It's only a matter of time. We have the High Inquisitor on our side. We must also sow dissent among the other regions. We won't succeed alone. For the next stage of their scheme, the grandees must raise other regions' defiance to a combined total of at least 8, which it almost is, but because blue needs to go up. Or ensure another region begins a rebellion in 3 seasons.
Alright.
Now you can change the swing votes into one of these. Royal Gamble to get money if we do what you think we're going to do. Golden Choice where we're bribed to do what you want. Or reverse voting.
Let's bribe you.
End year.
Alright. So now the calculus has changed.
Not by that much.
Well, yeah,
Although,
because
yeah,
the second goal is achieved by that, whereas you guys haven't done your first goal
Yes,
yet.
if they get... So you want blue and purple to stay low. Because naturally, some of the defiances are going to go up. And we haven't
Crystal
even done our
Pox
first
sounds
goal.
terrible. Let's do famous cuisine. That sounds not ominous. Chief Blahal 42 comes to you bearing a covered tray. He uncovers it with a flourish. A chef has set up his stall, selling a special pickled herring at the monument. It has become most popular. Everyone's flocking to try it. Your greatness, would you care to try some? Absolutely.
You lose consciousness. When you gain your senses, you find Val waiting for you expectantly.
Delicious. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Trays of pickled herring are carted out and served to civil nobles. Many are enthusiastic, but Countess Lucinda shakes her head in disgust.
Dreadful. How can you bring this to us? It tastes like urine. How dare you? You insult the pride of the chiefs. Your Highness, please have this dreadful stuff taken away at once. So we can either promote the northern pickled herring as a national food, lowering the defiance of blue and raising trade, hire the original chef to work in the palace, charging the treasury and lowering the defiance of blue, or leave it in the north where it belongs, raising the defiance of blue, lowering authority, and raising trade also. So it seems the only thing that matters here is that blue's defiance, which is already at 0, may go down or
up.
And authority might go down. So Linda's about to bribe us to
leave the pickled herring in the north where it belongs.
Alright.
I feel bad now that they People are really disgusted
Okay, you
by
can
it.
hit start vote. Linda's bribing us to leave it in the north where it belongs. Which, to be fair, Yellow's gonna do for their own goal. But I'd like the bribe money. So I don't mind if Yellow gets their own goal. If anything, it might encourage Linda to not have our thing be so high if Blue has a little bit of defiance, because it's more likely to add up to 8. So she'll stop like pumping up purple. Alright, we've now all been
Flurry of
bribed.
activity is still a bad feeling by rejecting pickle, herring remains. Some chiefs even bring it to council sessions. Snacking ostentatiously in front of you to make a point. I
Lowering your
liked the
authority.
herring.
You like the herring.
But other people didn't want to be...
Oh, and I think the
Suggested.
wedding lowers all defiances or something like that, if I remember from last
Yeah,
time.
let's
So
do
maybe
it.
it was good that you raised it right before lowering it.
The wedding to Torgir is natural. They talk of the kingdom. Nobles and peasants alike travel from across the realm to attend. For the week and a day, the capital is one giant party. It feels like you're the only one not taking part. Instead, you're getting ready for the ceremony. Soon enough, you're standing in St. Bertrand's Cathedral with Torgir at your side. Do you take this man as your lawfully wedded husband? I do. Then I pronounce you queen and husband.
Raising your stability.
After the wedding, of course, there's a feast, and after the feast, a dance. Your new husband, Torgir, delivers a short but heartfelt toast expressing a wish to get to know you better. By the time you find yourself alone with Torgir, it's past midnight, and you've never felt more tired. I miss the north. It's too warm down here, and people twist their words. They don't mean to what they say. I'd much prefer to rule from the north if I could. I can see why everyone down here speaks in circles. I don't know how you stand it. It's tough, but I have to do my duty. By Oldir's horn, I feel for you. I couldn't do it. After finishing the last of the wine, you head to your separate bane chambers. It seems your husband is happy to take his time getting to know you.
There you go. And now you have to deal with the pox. Crystal pox.
Your Majesty, I bring dreadful tidings. An outbreak of crystal pox is ravaging the south. Crystal pox? What's that?
A most terrible disease, Your Highness. It begins with a rash of boils, which slowly and painfully crystallize until the poor victim is sparkling like a diamond. Eventually, the sufferer becomes a crystalline statue, a painful but admittedly glamorous way to go. Maybe Grandy Rohit created this disease. How many dead? Whole villages have succumbed. The disease is terribly virulent.
Your Majesty, if I make a suggestion, victims of crystal pox are only infectious at the boil stage. Once they are covered in crystals, they no longer spread the disease. Indeed, the pox crystals can be harvested and used in jewelry? If we allowed the pox to spread, we could make money in the south. Do I have an option? Fire the treasurer into the sun?
By the ninth woman, that is heartless even for you.
The only way to fight the pox is to close the roads and shut down all trade until the wave subsides. Is that what you want? For the south to lose money?
Whoa. Well, there's huge numbers of changes. Everything also lowers stability. All of them.
Okay. Screw that option in particular.
Look how much money you would have gotten, and it lowers their faith.
I know, but just on principle,
Okay,
no.
you can start the vote.
Just no.
Alright. Let's keep it in the south so it doesn't come to anybody except for them. I don't want ourselves to get screwed over.
Quarantine the south. Blockades are placed on the roads leading in and out of the south. Nobody goes in or out. For a month, the crystal pox ravages the countryside. When the blockades are lifted, many fields lie fallow with no farmers left to tend them. Southern villages are dotted with the gleaming statues of the afflicted. But thanks to the council's quick thinking, the disease doesn't spread beyond the south's border.
Huzzah!
Once the road reopens, the Grandies harvest gemstones from the quarantined dead and sell them at a tidy profit. God damn it,
They
Grandies.
did it! They did it because that's why they told you not to do it, Linda. It was probably Rohit
The
from
spirit of
the
Rohit
previous
from the previous generation, man.
He may still be alive.
Seeking a
Far
similar-
in the east, Count Mark, the Pretender, is hosting a dinner party in his castle with a few distinguished guests. You said you had a surprise for me? Indeed, and here it is. Behold. Your Grace, what are you doing here at such an hour? I'm sorry, I hope you didn't overhear any Ha 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 ha! Quit babbling, you blowhard. This isn't the queen, it's a peasant who's the queen's spitting image. Blood and stars, and just in time, the spy master trusts us, and we can move to the next phase, kidnapping the queen and putting this fool in her place. How do we manage that? We need the kingdom to be in utter chaos, bad enough that the queen's abduction can slip past unnoticed. We must lower stability. Oh my gosh, this scheme is horrible. We lose.
Yep.
We had no way to know that. It could have been that the scheme I wanted to go for would have also required lowering stability, but we're done. We're done, Counts. I guess we become Kingmaker. Unless we could somehow... I guess maybe other people will work with us to lower stability. Let's do our best, because otherwise Linda will win with stability.
The good word. Gods greet you, Mark. I've had an idea.
Uh-oh.
My
He's
people
very
back
religious.
up north are not the most religious in the kingdom. Unlike me, many still cling to... I told you! I wanted
You're
to see
right.
if you would do that. It's
Yes,
sabotage.
you did.
Unlike me, many still cling to their old pagan traditions. The problem is, with all these foreign priests coming up to north, no one ever listens to them. But I think if the message came from any of the own, I might make a difference. You want to become a preacher. Not a preacher, exactly. Just an ambassador, I suppose, to show them what it means to be a faithful adherent of the ninth god. Will you give me your blessing? Go forth and bring the good word to them, my love! Thanks, the ninth. I'll make preparations immediately.
Word spread fast that the king consort will tour the north. Thousands of flock to the towns and villages where he plans to stop.
And chat is just saying, like, Greek heretic, bro, your son is a heretic. Once he arrives, Turk gives a series of passionate speeches to the locals, pleading with them to abandon their
Ooh, it's up
healing
to
ways.
2. If we can get it
Plus
to, I
2
think,
faith.
4, then they
It strikes
will
the
be...
core, the Archbishop happily announces that church attendance is rising all across the region. I see in chat, the son of mine has gotten soft at the head. Alright, soft at the capital. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. We just need to get it up a little bit more to prevent them from being in the final
Newborn
phase.
cubs.
Oh, from the bears, we got
Count
cubs.
Gustav proudly wheels a covered cage into the council hall.
Most pleasing, your highness. Look what I have here. He whips the cloth from the cage to reveal a small, fluffy white bear.
It's the most adorable thing I've ever seen!
It turns out the bears in their menagerie are in love. Isn't that sweet? I thought you might like to be gifted one of the bear's cubs, your highness, in exchange for a modest donation to my menagerie. Your greatness, this is an outrage. A slap in the face to the devout chiefs. The bear should have been ours. It lowers faith to give the cub to the chiefs because it reinforces their pagan traditions. And goes against the ninth god if the chiefs get it. It looks like.
Let's see. Don't want to lower their faith.
So you can either bribe for the one that you want the most, which doesn't cost you money, but just gives the people who do it money. You can vote for something, or you can veto something. So if you donate to the menagerie, you pay money in exchange for, it looks like, authority and defiance
goes down,
going
but they
down
don't have it,
and
yeah.
trade going up. If you have the honor guard confiscated, then there's a 50% chance based on authority that you can just steal the bear from Gustavo and not pay for it. And declining the gift, Gustavo just takes it back to the menagerie and gets money, presumably.
But becomes defiant.
Someone does, probably the North. And if you give it to the Chiefs, then the Chiefs would become happy and we would become defiant, and then the Chiefs would go back to
I
their
thought
pagan
you would
religion.
become defiant because I said no to your gift.
Maybe. It's either us or the Chiefs who would become defiant in that one. We can't tell because it doesn't say. And then Gustavo would get money. So you can decide which of your powers you're going to use, and then we'll vote.
Yeah, I don't really want to make you guys more defiant at this point. So, I
So
think...
the one that doesn't raise any defiance is donate to the menagerie for the Bear Club.
Yeah, let's put a bribe on that one.
Alright. We will get money for voting A. Everyone who votes A gets money. Oh, it looks like people want decline either way, though. Oh, because, well, the Grandees want Defiance to be as high as possible.
Yeah, they do, so...
That makes sense. There are far more important things on which to spend your taxes, but many counts see your refusal as an insult. It was us.
They take them back to the east where visitors flock to see the family of bears in their comfortable home.
So Gustavo got an
Huge amount of money.
ton of money.
The treasurer is happy. She said it would have been terribly expensive to keep a bear at the castle, even a small one.
There you go.
Alright, there's missing bees now?
Missing bees. Your Grace, terrible news from the east. The bees have vanished.
All the bees?
All of them, all across the east. We counts rely on the bees for our honey trade. Worse, in the east, bees are bringers of good fortune. We look after them, and they look after us. It's a grim omen, indeed, if they've deserted us. Our serfs are scared that we've offended the bees somehow. We must track them down.
I'm going to veto letting nature take its course.
Alright. Let's send investigators to other regions, everyone. We don't want to put Linda to... Don't put up the stability. Linda will win. Oh, everybody's putting up stability. Linda will win if you select C, maybe. No, people wanted to do it anyway.
Well, because Yellow didn't want Defiance to go down, because that's against their goal.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Come on, somebody else be in the game. I don't know how many people there actually are. Maybe this is everybody. You're right. Yellow obviously was just playing to their strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Linda's obviously going to choose the one that...
More stability!
Yep. Ha! What do the peasants know? Oh well, I suppose it's better than nothing. While the nobles scoff at the queen lowering herself to listen to the peasantry, the peasants themselves are happy to have a voice for a change. You hope to find something useful soon. That's the end of the season. Hopefully there's more time to put up the North's faith, because it's so hard to get their faith up. Alright, what are the choices here? We can either raise the trade or lower the faith of the North. We can build a prison and lower stability. I think that people should work together to just make sure the prison is one of the things we build, because
you don't Yellow
doesn't need to build anything this turn, and everybody wants stability to be down so that we don't lose to Linda.
I don't want stability.
Everybody who's allowed to oh yeah, we have to start auction.
Right,
everyone who's allowed to participate in auction wants stability to be down. So I just suggest letting the Chiefs have their minus faith thing for cheap and then building the prison, because there's not that much point in stopping that in a bidding war. Oh, the Chiefs actually want plus trade, apparently. I mean, that's fair.
What do you mean? They voted B.
But no, some people have voted for...
No, it's D and B. These two.
No, some people have voted for A.
Oh, it doesn't show here. Oh, it just shows the lead, I see.
It shows the lead.
Ada's just sitting here in your tub full of diamonds. Ada's so rich.
Ada has so much money.
Let's see. After Bird Knights, we'll get Bear Knights. Is a comment in chat. I mean, Bear Knights would make more sense than Bird Knights, to be fair. Alright. Time is up. Wait, what? Wait, why did you do that?
What?
Why did you contribute to the trade building when you said we needed the stability building?
I did need the stability. I thought I had contributed to both, but I messed up. I had contributed so that the stability prison was above the observatory, but I messed up and actually screwed ourselves over. Whoops.
Oops.
I was doing something at the last second, so time ran out, and somebody noticed what I was doing and blocked it.
Well, I'm pleased about this.
Yeah, you should be.
Alright. Pagan prophecies? Maybe we can force more faith. The Northern Chief Godspeakers have uncovered an ancient prophecy. Yes, Mark played himself, trying to play 80-dimensional chess.
I almost got it out, too. But I couldn't stop 4 other people who were going against
ancient prophecy. What do I care about some pagan prophecy? As much as I appreciate your devotion to the ninth god, this is quite important. What she means to say is the chiefs plan to use the prophecy to justify unseating you. Truth or not, many northerners believe it. Ah, ninth above. Quite. The prophecy tells of an authoritarian queen who's overthrown by a northern warrior, the savior of the pagans known by the names such as the Thronebreaker, the Sword of Valtor, or the Lord Render. That's you, by the way, the authoritarian queen, not the Lord Render. The prophecy calls for the collapse and death of all false gods, including the ninth, whom Nelquist will lead in a bubbling cauldron, disguised as a magical pond. This is sounding very heretical. Worse than heresy, your majesty, it's a lie. We must strengthen the church in the north. Besides falsifying their prophecy, it might even save a few misguided northerners. The pagans still blindly worship their old gods, however, if we don't act soon, the kingdom will be lost.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they were able to lower their faith. So I think you should go to the ordered priest to go to the north. It's gonna be hard to get their faith up to 4. So
yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of whether it's better to. Yeah, vote is probably the most powerful thing I can do here.
Yeah, because all of us will, except blue, will probably vote for A because it lowers stability, which is actually helps against your own thing. So I think yellow and purple will help you.
Yeah, I think my stability is good enough that I'm probably okay to let it lower
especially since I screwed up there. I was trying to get stability down and not have their faith go down.
Probably okay to just try to delay the goal here. The king forsakes his northern heritage.
No, the queen is staying with the queen is staying with her prince consort.
Yeah.
That's what her prince consort wants from the north. It was done entirely on regional lines. The archbishop mobilizes the priesthood. Emergency sermons are heard in every church across the kingdom, warning the faithful to stay vigilant against pagan lies.
I lost authority and stability, but a lot of faith happened.
Yes. Unfortunately, it was not enough faith.
Hundreds of priests are sent up north to preach to the local populace, which naturally causes tensions with the chiefs. You hope it will be enough.
Nah.
About your heir.
It was not enough.
Your marriage to Torger is going strong and steady like an old castle wall, though it began as a political arrangement as it blossomed into something like love. It's time you thought about an heir. Congratulations are in order. The royal wedding was a magnificent affair, but something's still missing. You need an heir. You need someone young whose loyalty is assured. A child of your own would do the trick, even if they're a bastard or the youngest of one of your many cousins. My husband and I will have a child together. There is a stinging problem over here.
Uh-oh, it's from the bees.
An eastern peasant has words of the Count Bees, your majesty. Your majesty, I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I did spot a big old swarm of bees going over to the south. Grandy Big Cheese steps in, his face swollen and covered with stings. Is that you, Will? These damn counts. I bet they sent those those bees of theirs just to trouble us. I did wonder what was going on with your face. Yes, it's terrible. By the ninth, those bees must be destroyed. No one dares go outside. Our markets are ruined.
Seven take us. These bees are our livelihood. If they're killed, they'll bring bad luck to all of us.
Then you should have taken better care of them, shouldn't you? Don't kill the bees.
Alright, should we lure the bees back to the east or get the church to help heal the peasants? I think they belong in the east. Who knows what happens if the church heals the peasants?
It might have increased faith. But I just didn't want destroying the bees in the south. And
I doubt it would have increased faith in the north.
The
north was just not related to this, unfortunately. They're gonna get this.
It's mean to destroy the bees.
Some grandees grumble that they're not getting enough help from the crown. Their farmers resort to huge protective suits and hats, which hamper their work terribly. Meanwhile, the counts are grateful but are desperate to figure out how to bring the bees back. Eastern folktales describe charms that can control bees. Hopefully the counts can find one before it's too late. Alright, that's the end of the season. Far to the north, an ancient ceremony in a smoky clan hall reaches a fever pitch. Frida, the chief's claimant, sits atop a throne of bones, surrounded by god speakers chanting in a foreign tongue. And thus, with Morgana as my witness, I hereby crown you Queen in the North, the Lord Renda, soon to be Queen of all the kingdom. Glory to the Lord Renda, chosen of Valtor. Glory to Morgana in the North. The assembled chiefs roar in chorus with each other. Steins are smashed against one another in celebration. Now we must bring down the false queen in the south and fulfill the prophecy. The only question is how. You could either lower your own defiance to lure the queen to the north and sacrifice her in a pagan ritual, or raise your own farming in order to sacrifice thousands of goats to the old god and call upon them to intervene. Which will you do for the final stage of your plan, North? Alright, they've chosen to lower their defiance. I'm sure it's low enough already. We all need to be as mean to the north as possible to stop.
Sorry, hubby, your country folk want to kill me.
No, but they want to do it paganly.
Yeah.
Your husband will understand. So it is destined. So it will be. Spread the word to all Morgana's children. The Thronebreaker has risen and the false queen will fall. But first we drink in honor of the gods. More cheers erupt throughout the clan hall. Come morning, there will be a lot of work to do. For the final stage of their scheme, the chiefs must lower their defiance to 1 or less. Oh, they actually aren't low enough. It's a very low defiance. In the darkest depth of the eastern forest, Count Mark the Pretenders gathered the fellow plotters around a mossy stone obelisk. The kingdom is at peace, and everyone's looking for a new scandal to focus on. Not exactly the right climate to abduct a queen. I could finally publish my memoirs if you think that would cause enough of a distraction. No, I don't think that'll do it. We need total chaos across the whole kingdom. You underestimate the impact of my memoirs. Count's aim is to lower stability of 4 or less. Yes, we're not even close.
Meanwhile,
deep in the south, the grandee paces back and forth along the balcony of his hillside villa. I'm told that progress is slow. How could they be so blind, trusting in that fool of a queen after everything she's done? The grandee's aim is to raise other regions' combined defiance to 8 or more, or ensure that they start a rebellion. Which, yeah, that would require lowering stability to happen. Yes, obviously you want to tax the hell out of them. If you want to also try to screw over the grandees somewhat, then you should lower our taxes. No, it doesn't matter about theirs. The grandee needs 8 from purple and blue combined.
Oh, that's right, from those 2 combined. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. This should be...
Yeah,
yes.
That should be making them as angry as possible.
This should be optimal to make them angry, but also help prevent the goal. Okay.
There you go.
This makes you be such a ruler. It's like, I'm going to constantly sabotage the aims of everyone.
Because they're trying to kill you.
I know, they are trying to kill me. Alright. A new baby.
Greetings, Your Highness. Some fine news from my peasants in the east. A baby has been born on your birthday, bearing a birthmark in the shape of the number 9. A fantastic omen. Perhaps we should mark the occasion. So Linda has put a vote on give the parents a bounty of jewels and fine wine. Alright. There we go. South, be with me. Vote for the Inquisitors. Vote for the Inquisitors, everyone.
I probably should have vetoed that one.
Send the Inquisitors to our own place. I know it will raise our defiance, and I'd rather have the Queens have no time for peasant brats, but I didn't think I could realistically win with that one, so I'm teaming up with the South.
I should have vetoed that one.
We in the East are so far from lowering stability. We had to do anything we could. By Xenia's ashes, Your Majesty, I can assure you there is no deception going on here. I'll be the judge of that. When the High Inquisitor returns, she is forced to admit the birthmark is genuine, but her rude questions and threats have turned the local populace against her.
The city in flames. Your Grace, there's been a terrible fire in the city of Byelkazov. Where there once were buildings, there is now a field of smoldering ash. Dozens of serfs have died. What caused the fire? Bees caused it, says chat. A warehouse was storing lamp oil unsafely in immense quantities. The owners were in the middle of haggling over prices when one of the merchants lit his pipe. I'm sorry to hear your city has gone up in flames. I was hoping the council might unlock some funds from the treasury so we can rebuild. I'm going to veto refusing to assist.
Oh, let's rebuild the city exactly how it was. Take away Linda's treasury. It won't. Besides, the bees.
Well, of course Yellow wants to increase the defiance.
Yes. Well, I wanted to lower Defiance so Yellow doesn't get their plan, because Yellow's only one away from their plan bearing fruit.
Well, I wanted to make sure you couldn't pick the down stability option.
Oh, I would have.
Yeah, you definitely would have.
You ordered the immediate reconstruction of Byelkazov, and I would have teamed up with Yellow because it would have raised our Defiance. The cheap wooden houses take no time to build and are soon populated by candle-wielding, dry-blanket-bearing common folk. What could go wrong? Yellow and Purple could have gotten that done if you hadn't vetoed it, so you were probably smart to veto it.
Eastern Ruins. Your Majesty, my researchers have uncovered something fascinating. We discovered the location of a bee charm. It should bring the bees back from the south. Gods above, get on with it then. We're cowering in our homes to hide from these horrid swarms. That's no way to live. We haven't found the charm yet, but it's said to be hidden in a ruined monastery. My soldiers are coming through it now. What monastery? I've never heard of. The monastery once belonged to the Order of the Conquering Blade. The what? They're long dead, High Inquisitor. Your forebears made sure of that. Because they were demon worshippers, this ruin must be destroyed immediately. It's too dangerous to stand. But this is part of Eastern heritage. It's not our fault they had some dubious practices. Besides, we need this charm. I'm with Lucinda. Without the charm, we'll be terrorized by the bees forever. The council hall descends into argument as the three of them make demands. You call a vote to settle things down.
Even some of the Yellow team said that they wanted to get rid of the bees and did not side with the Inquisitor. That was funny. So, wow, destroying the monastery is only a 30% chance.
I say we should
find the bee
place.
charm. Come on, people. Come on, Purple and Blue. We don't want Yellow to get their thing from the other one. With their religious zealotry.
Wait, no, they need to raise defiance. Yellow does.
Won't that raise the defiance of somebody? Oh no, maybe not. But they're
this
gonna
lowers defiance.
Oh, they're gonna try the faith thing because it could throw the kingdom into chaos when it fails. That's a good point, Yellow.
They both lower faith. This one just gets
What?
us money, and that one lowers stability.
Well, it's a good.
They're both down faith,
no,
down
it's a good
the
point
difference
that
of stability.
no, but this is 30% based on faith, so it would probably fail. And Yellow was hoping terrible things would happen.
Yeah,
when it
I
failed.
see. But you see why I picked the one that I did.
I do, and I see why Yellow picked the one that they did, also because they figured something really bad would
They
happen.
said, never mind the demon stuff. Find the bee charm.
The High Inquisitor sweeps out. Tight-lipped and furious, rumors start to spread she has sent Inquisitors in disguise to the east to snoop around.
Man, you've gotten my stability down to 5, Mark.
If I hadn't done the thing earlier, we would actually be at 4.
Meanwhile, Lucinda's vassals return from their expedition with the charm. To everyone's relief, the bees quickly return to the Eastern Hive.
Yay, bees! We're close. We're close. We just need one more east. Then we'll finally get there. And, oh yeah, you can change one of your laws. If there's one you don't like, you can change it to call for unity.
I like call for unity, so if you try to...
If we all gang up on something, that stability goes up. What was the warning? Oh.
You have to pick one to remove,
one to remove. Okay, everyone, if she uses call for unity, we have to be careful not to all vote for the same thing. We have to split our votes, which is very
Let's go back
annoying.
to the bees.
The
Buzzing
bees.
in the walls.
I must speak with you urgently. Remember how Countess Lucinda was poking around in the heretical monastery of the Conquering Blade?
Right, to find the bee charm.
The charm did bring back the bees, but at what cost? It began with buzzing in Lucinda's castle walls. At first it was only at night, then it grew so loud the servants couldn't hear themselves think. Then honey began dripping from the stone walls. Villagers started disappearing. Horrible things are afoot. Lucinda strides into the council hall wide-eyed. This is a strange, strong smell of honey around her. I assure you, I am perfectly fine. This woman is clearly touched by unholy forces. Chaos breaks out in a moment of quiet. You call a vote. Have the High Inquisitor test Lucinda, 20% chance based on faith. Search Lucinda's estate, raising defiance. Or, this is all blown out of proportion. It's fine, raising farming massively, making us happy in the east, but lowering stability. The funny thing is, if Linda calls for unity and we all blow out of proportion, she will still get back the stability that is lost.
Well, let's see. So Yellow's gonna want to raise defiance.
Yes, Yellow's probably going to do that, or Yellow might pick the chaos option of A, the thing's likely to fail, hoping it's going to screw up the kingdom when it fails. And raise defiance among other things, because that seems like it would.
I think I'm gonna try...
Call for unity, you don't pick a choice. If more than half of us pick the same option with a call for unity, you automatically get stability.
I see.
So we need to divide our votes so that more than half of us don't pick the same thing.
If I do that, okay. So I will... Oh, jeez.
Because I think that both of the top two options are going to raise defiance because there's a 80% chance.
Yeah, alright. I'm calling for unity.
Okay, I think we should do C, everybody, but don't all vote for it. Let's try to split our votes so that we don't get more than half in the same place. That's 4.
Come on.
Okay. There's no need for us to vote anymore unless we want to change the vote from this, because this is getting the one that we want. Okay, that should be fine. That's not more than half. Ooh, that's exactly half. I wonder if that is a problem. Let's find out. Yes, exactly half was okay.
The High Inquisitor is furious, and priests preach about the dangers of demonic influence. Peasants grow worried, and many avoid Countess Lucinda's lands altogether.
Oh, we're heathens now in the east.
But bees love the place. More and more swarm, forming dark clouds around the castle towers. The honey harvest thrives as thick sweetness hangs in the air.
We have 9 farming.
You know, honestly, it's probably better to let stability fall to 4, because then you'll stop fighting for stability.
You're right. Then I'll let you raise your stability.
And I might actually not.
You can just stop me from doing the third thing. Purple is fighting, like, for our lives to put stability at 4 because we know that it's not going to happen for long.
Sanctuary! Your Majesty, there was a problem with the cathedral that was recently built in the south. A dangerous outlaw by the name of Ironjaw Sid was fleeing the city watch. Honey for the bears!
It is honey for the bears. That's why awesome. It's bees and bears.
Yes, the bears and the bees. After a decade-long...
I love our bee demons. And look, we're at 9 farming.
We were finally on the verge of catching him. But just before he's caught, he drives into the cathedral and proclaims sanctuary. According to the law, we can't arrest him on holy ground. The audacity of Ironjaw said to invoke holiness. How did he get that nickname? Before he turned to crime, he used to be a champion prize fighter. He could take so many punches, the opponent would get tired and give up. Sanctuary, that's a thing. Yes, it is. Law of sanctuary is almost as old as the kingdom itself. As long as he remains on holy ground, this Cid is a child of the ninth under the protection of his mercy. I will not allow you to violate that, no matter the nature of the man's crimes. By the ninth! Right now, Ironjaw Sid is living the high life. Priests are feeding him roast dinners and fluffing his pillows.
So, we can either say sanctuary is a sacred tradition that must not be questioned, or repeal the law of sanctuary so that this criminal can finally serve justice, like the South wanted, or allow sanctuary to be broken this time so he can be brought to justice, but not next time, which is a 50-50 chance. All of them have their own drawbacks. Also, it will raise defiance, it looks like, somewhere. Probably the South, because it's a law of the South, which is not something South cares about defiance going up.
Yeah. So, I feel like I don't...
Yeah, we'll raise defiance in the South to say that it's a law that must not be
I don't want stability to go down even further.
That makes sense.
So I'm going to veto that.
I feel like...
I want it to be at 4 at the end of this, so you get your thing, and then you stop...
I feel like nobody cares about this one except for things, so maybe we could break the law this time, because I don't think it should not be questioned. As our zero faith heathens here in the East, we think that it can be questioned, and I'm sure the North agrees. Oh wow, this is actually very split, because it doesn't really matter that much. It's broken just this once.
At least we won't have to worry about Ironjaw Sid anymore.
It was succeeded.
Randy Big Cheese, it succeeded. Centuries of tradition thrown out the window, all for someone named Ironjaw Sid, but I suppose it could be worse. Ironjaw Sid is dragged, kicking and screaming, out of the cathedral and hanged the next day for crimes too numerous and horrible to mention.
Oh, that actually raised authority.
Yeah.
I like the random chances of something happening to Rico. That's part of why I voted for it, just to see what would happen.
Stargazing. This simply can't go on, Your Majesty. These archbuffins think they know everything, but they know nothing of the ninth god's wrath. Please, Your Majesty, we found a perfect site for an observatory high in the southern hills, but it's on Grandy Big Cheese's lands, and he refuses to let us build there. Such things are heresy! The stars are just as big and close as the ninth god intended. Who put you up to this idea? I bet it was one of those counts like Kolinox.
So we can construct the observatory 70% chance of success, find a different site, which, surprise benefits that we won't know. Forbid the observatory, which lowers the defiance of Yellow, which doesn't really matter, and raises the faith of Yellow. And forbid the construction and investigate the scholars' funding to see if they're funded by, like, a foreign source or something. So, Linda, do you want to vote for anything since I think this is the last one? There's no detriment to you using your monarch vote if you like one of these.
Maybe we try to find a different site for it.
Let's build it. That should be cool. I think these scholars have a good point. That's what I'm in favor of. Yellow thinks that the scholars are suspicious. Or at least one person on Yellow thinks the scholars are suspicious. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna investigate the scholars' funding.
Yellow thinks that'll make people defiant, probably.
The thorough investigation quickly unearths the truth. The scholar's patron is none other than Count Kolinox.
Okay, well, they were correct.
Hold on a moment. This was never a secret to begin with. All my accounts are public. Big Cheese is just paranoid of a conspiracy. This observatory could advance our knowledge of the stars by hundreds of years. It is a crime to fund the sciences now. Yes, actually, off with his head is an option which lowers stability.
Jeebus. Definitely not taking that
You
one.
can say no, but you've got to stop infringing on the Grandees' religious freedom, which will help the Grandees by raising our thing. Or you can just say, you're right, we should allow the observatory to go ahead after all. And it succeeded. Screwing up the Grandees, but the Grandees get money. They grumble, but the observatory provides jobs and brings traveling scholars to the area.
I banked on my authority and it worked.
We're very loyal to you now. And our 70% thing that we picked got chosen in the end after all. Wow, I can't believe you could have killed him
for that.
For funding an observatory.
I'm glad it didn't go to a vote.
The kingdom is on the brink of chaos. It's perfect. We have to strike. What do you intend to do? Swoop in and kidnap the queen in full view of the honor guard in the palace watch? No, of course not. We need to use the chaos to our advantage. We have two options. We can lure the queen to the east and abduct her by raising our own defiance. No. Oh my gosh, raising our own defiance or lowering our own farming. Our farming is 9. I don't see how we can do either of those two things because it's too easy for the queen to control our defiance, but our farming is so high and we're unlikely to be given a thing to lower it. Gosh, Willikers. The counts are just getting wrecked. I guess I'll pick raise our own defiance because I think when you have 9
because Yellow
farming,
also wants defiance.
Also, yeah, Yellow wants to help us, and when you have 9
sense.
farming, there's just no way we're gonna get our farming down to a reasonable number. Plus, if we lose, we can keep our awesome farming. We need to convince the queen the East is on the verge of rebellion. In the current climate, she'll be forced to make a diplomatic visit to smooth things over. That's when we strike. One queen entered the peace tent, another queen leaves. For the final stage of their scheme, the council must raise their defiance to at least 5 without starting a rebellion. Okay. And Yellow's gonna help us, because if we get 5, that'll move them to their next thing. Although, actually, Yellow's not really gonna try to get us to 5, but they'll probably help us get a little, and then try to stop us from getting 5. But
yeah, Yellow's the least dangerous now, because they're only at stage 2. Alright.
Probably Purple will win before Yellow does on that, but... oh yeah, if it's a joint victory, I think it goes randomly.
Wild beast attacks. Your Highness, I bring ill tidings from the north. Wildlife has gone berserk in rural areas. They are attacking villages and travelers all across the region. Tell me more about these creatures. They are great hulking beasts, clearly twisted by magic. Some say they walk and talk like people. The northern warriors are afraid. They say the creatures are a dark omen, a sign of the end.
Oh, someone in chat pointed out all 3 factions have defiance-based goals. Blue wants to go down, purple wants to go up, and yellow wants blue plus purple to be equal to 8.
That's true. That's wild. I didn't think about that. Draco's bones was guiding to these chiefs that they can't handle a few wild animals. The other regions have plenty of their own problems, Your Grace. No one wants to march up to the frozen north for something like this. What am I to do? Point of order, Your Highness. So the church's presence in the north is minimal, we can provide shelter for those who need it. All will be welcome, whether they are adherents to the true god or not. It's the least we can do. Or if you can afford it, send a detachment of mercenaries who aren't afraid of a few wild bears. That should put an end to this crisis.
So we do not have enough money to send the mercenaries. We can either tell the Northerners to fend for themselves, which will put up their defiance and stop them from possibly winning more, or instruct them to seek refuge in the Nine Gods churches, which will lower their farming and raise their faith, which is irrelevant. So I feel a little bit bad for them overall, even though as a person in the East, I don't want them to win, but because they haven't gotten a lot of chances to lower their defiance. But this will be a good chance to raise their defiance. And if Linda can raise Blue's defiance...
they need to lower...
If Linda raises Blue's defiance, she can convince Yellow not to raise our defiance. So weirdly enough,
It actually incentivizes me to do this.
We on Purple want Blue to have high enough defiance that they won't win, but low enough defiance that... Oh no, Call for Unity is just if anybody option gets more than 50% of votes. Then you get a stability.
Yeah, but I feel like most people are going to vote for that.
That's fair. Well, it depends, because... We kind of, on Purple, we kind of want Blue to not win, but also not get their defiance too high so that our defiance can get up from Yellow. Whereas, it's like a balancing factor. It's really interesting that we're all in defiance things. Anyway, decide which one you want to do. If you veto, you will get exactly the choice that you want.
I know, but I want stability.
Well, actually, it's going to be really hard not to have 50% of us vote for something when there's only 2 options.
So let's do that.
So, if we literally have an odd number of people vote, Linda automatically gets stability. Right?
I want stability.
It was good, because you waited for one to get grayed out, and then you used your stability thing. Alright, let's see.
Aw. Mimi?
But at least you get the one you want with the Northerners, where Purple might have preferred the one on the bottom that didn't, that left North at 4 more than... Whoa, it went up to 6?
Whoa.
Holy cow, they're really defiant by this. You explained that pest control is not usually part of the Queen's mandate, but the Chiefs do not agree. Strange beasts continue to ravage the northern countryside, constantly eluding any soldiers sent after them. At the very least, their attacks will lessen with time. Now their farming is barren, which will also probably make them defiant. Also, I think that they're going to rebel now.
Yeah,
Rebellion, we have a strong army. Yeah, the North is going to rebel now. You made them really bad.
I did not realize they were going to get that bad. Your quest for an heir is finally complete. Hold a small child. Let's have son.
Designated your heir, and the stability has raised.
What is his name? Mark the Third.
That's the only choice.
The gods are good, Your Highness. I'm sure little Mark the Third will grow up to be a chip off the old block.
Congratulations. Now you need to fulfill your ambition. The Spymaster will come to you shortly.
Spymaster soon is going to be like, what are we even doing?
Well, it's probabilistic based, so it should give you like a 30% chance that
Stone
goes
Maiden.
up by 10% each time.
Behold, Your Highness. Grandy Big Cheese pulls aside a tarpaulin to reveal a granite statue of Grandy Ada. The statue is impeccably detailed, this expression of frozen grimace. A sad sight, is it not? That's not a statue, is it? Astutely observed, Your Highness. That's all that remains of my fellow Grandy. It seems the Stone Maiden is abroad in the south. Who's that? She's a walking statue with burning yellow eyes. All who meet her gaze are turned to stone. She's lived for years at a time before waking and terrorizing the kingdom. She must have ambushed Grandy Ada at their latest vineyard inspection. Please, Your Highness, we must do something.
Grandy Ada has died.
Ada has died. Ada the Second has joined the council.
Wow. We don't have enough money to hire a wizard to take care of this, and all of the things have a bad probability. Although Fairy Tale 55% is the highest.
Come on, guys. We gotta go to the
You
fairy
have to
tales.
start vote. Everyone, let's send an army. It'll probably fail.
You guys are awful.
So how can we trust in fairy tales when there's this Gorgon that's turning everybody to stone?
Well, the Gorgon is a fairy tale monster.
Well, actually,
you know?
most of the counts wanted to trust in fairy tales because counts are very occult. I actually wound up voting with the North. But I think it would weaken the North's military potentially if our army fails, and I'm worried that they're gonna have a strong military.
Southern troops find the Stone Maiden waiting for them in a
Oh right, it's weakened the South military.
Yes.
There you go. Anyway, it doesn't
Her
matter.
eyes blazing through the swirling mist, she beckons. They raise their weapons. The military challenge fails. The military of the South is now helpless. Her deadly gaze sweeps across them, turning thousands of soldiers
Well,
to
here's
stone.
the thing, because the South can also rebel. Now they won't. So it was helpful for all those of us who don't want a rebellion.
You should have seen this coming. You can't fight the Stone Maiden with an army. The Stone Maiden rage stalks the South for... God damn it, my
for weeks, and
Stable.
turning thousands of peasants into twisted granite figurines. The South is now starving. Stability is now 3.
I blame my
At
nobles.
long last, she retreats to her fair, deep underground.
Seriously, the Grandies
Obviously.
now
You-
the
the
rich
Grandies
get richer.
sold the statues.
What?
Now it's at 9 trade.
The Grandies are so
It's
awful.
Rohit's in the background there. Just
Like hee 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 hee. First the people got turned into like crystal
Now they're
crystal
turned
balls.
into
We sold their
statues.
corpses. Then they got turned into statues. We
Alright,
can
it's
turn
time
into
to end
corpses.
the season. There might be 2 rebellions, although I think the South won't rebel with their bad military. We can start an auction. Okay. So, guys, yeah, you have to hit start auction.
All right. Sorry.
I think that what we kind of don't want, everybody combined kind of doesn't want the Chiefs to get even more military than 6, because 6 is kind of mid, but if they had really high military, they might
So you
successfully
could vote
rebel.
for minus military in the stadium.
Yeah, so we
minus
could vote
chief
for minus
military.
chief military. That's pretty legit. The Chiefs would
I
have
don't
to
know
build.
what else you guys care
The
about.
Chiefs would have to build 2 other buildings in order to and get them both to be above minus chief military to stop the minus chief military from happening.
Oh, I see. The Grandies want actual non-zero Grandie military.
Yes. They would like to have 1 in case they decide to rebel.
Time is up. The stadium and the Thieves Guild were funded.
We messed up. South trade.
Continue to rebellion report. 1 or more regions are able to rebel as their defiance stat is higher than both authority and stability. If rebels get more victory points than the loyalists, they'll win the game. If loyalists get more victory points than the rebels, they'll put down the rebellion and continue the game. If multiple regions rebel and win, a vote between the 2 rebelling regions with the highest stats will determine the successor. Important rebelling regions have their schemes paused. Military stats. Regions with high military are more likely to overthrow the monarch with a rebellion. 0 stat endings. If stability, authority, or treasury hits 0, the rebels will win the civil war.
Uh-huh.
Alright, they're probably going to try to knock my stability to 0.
Ironically, we in purple would have liked to be on this situation.
You're insufficiently
Oh,
defined.
you have to end season because we're on the verge of
Yes.
the rebellion. Alright. So now blue and yellow can see if they want to rebel. Although blue has more votes, so they would get to win if blue and yellow both rebelled, probably. And yellow has almost no military, so they wouldn't have
Your
much say.
ambition.
Start
You said
of
you
your
wanted to
reign.
be peacekeeper. So far, you've done a dismal job of it. The kingdom is in chaos, your majesty. Oh.
Oh
no.
my gosh, it just raised the defiances
Current
again.
ambition, if you want to stop them, you need to pivot, change your image. Your other advisors have some ideas. We should crush them, force them to submit. Spread the zeal of the Ninth God. Declare war on the Ashmedian Empire. Don't listen to them. Have you heard of the Scepter of Sages? It's a lost artifact forged by Queen Alma the Wise. There's a legend that any queen who recovers it will rule over the Golden Age.
So you can choose for authority and military, authority and faith, farming and military, or faith and trade.
Well,
Faith and trade. Our trade is really high. Is what
faith
you
and
should
trade,
do.
yeah, definitely.
That's what you should do, I think.
And I don't want to encourage more military.
Your Majesty. I'll begin sending out adventurers to track down the scepter's location. Adventures aren't cheap. Your priority is to raise the kingdom's faith and trade as much as you can.
Of course,
there can't be open rebellion among the nobles, which there probably will because of Blue.
Yes.
Alright, well, click on one of the things here.
The uninvited guest. Now I need faith and trade.
Council's ended early for the day. You're off to visit your husband.
Torgir, for a catch-up, but easy put your hand on the door into your chambers. You hear giggling coming from inside. Mark! The Queen! I mean, Your Highness. What was all the giggling about? That's when you recognize the second person in the room, Seraphina, a grandee of the South. She's renowned for being a heartbreaker, and you've crossed paths many times around the palace. I can see you two have a few things to talk about.
Slip out of the room,
leaving you and Torgir to stare each other down. You could have at least have waited for a few years. Acts of my ancestors, Mark II, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. It all got away from me so fast.
There's a lot of options on this.
Wow. My stability is garbage, so I feel like if I kick him out now...
Stability is whether the peasants like you, but yeah, if you kick him out, then it's possible that the peasants will get upset.
It's fine. All nobles do this. It's not fine, Mark II. I betrayed your trust, but it ends today. We'll find Seraphina and tell her I won't be seeing her again. I'll let him deal with this.
Uh-oh. Linda, I think that...
They all want to rebel.
I think they're all going to rebel on you.
That's probably what's...
Unless you can raise your authority or something. You must do something about this wild animal problem, Your Grace. It's getting out of control. Is that the beast from the north? Yes, Your Majesty. Only now they've migrated and are ravaging our farmlands.
I wouldn't rule out a possibility of a ploy by the chiefs. Those heathens have no respect for the
neighbors. We're heathens. We have zero faith.
I tried to warn you. You can't blame us for this, says Chief Creative Burst. Settle down, both of you, says the Chancellor. We should just have to vote on the issue.
Oh gosh, Linda, you either have to lower your stability or you can veto to make the one that you want happen. You either have to lower your stability or let us deal with the problem ourselves, which only has a 40% chance of succeeding.
They're both awful options.
Yeah, but if you're, like, which one do you, I think you lose if you're stability.
Call for unity! They both suck, but if you don't, like...
That's true. Is if we don't, like, literally split the vote, you will at least not...
And Mark doesn't have... And Mark doesn't want us literally split the vote.
No, I do not want us to literally split the vote.
So he can make sure that doesn't happen with what he does.
Yes, I do not want us to literally split the vote. Even the rebelling people don't want stability to go to 0 because then... Oh, we literally split the vote. Well, Linda, you can pick the one that you wanted. Or you can pick one that doesn't lower stability, given that it is a
Counts, deal with it yourselves. I was hoping that it would...
Your authority has gone down to 3. Your hands are tied. He's not too happy. Despite their best efforts, the Count proved no match.
The Defiance goes up, their farming goes down, their military goes down. Well, I wanted the bad option, but then, like, with having gotten the stability from that, so I could afford it.
Alright, I guess end.
Yep, end season.
We did it, Counts! I think we win. But let's see.
Deep in the south, in the back garden of a sun-bleached villa, a number of grandees crowd around a figure, raising their arms in a toast. Here's to the future monarch Devi and the golden age on the horizon. May the night god strike down the false queen for her wickedness. Soon the Inquisition will be complete and the Archbishop will crown me, but what should be done with the queen?
You can choose whether to burn her at the stake, of course, by lowering stability, or show mercy in exchange for abdication by lowering authority, Southerners. Although I actually think the Counts won, but I'm not sure. I don't know the rules of this game enough, and we have not played it enough to know whether or not the Counts won. But we'll find out after all of these phases. Oh, it's a tie so far among the Southerners whether to burn her at the stake or show mercy.
Wow.
Oh no, they're gonna burn you at the stake, Linda. They're angry at you. And they have, like, no military, so they're not gonna get to do it. But a glorious way to usher in the new monarch, I say. The Ninth God will surely be pleased. First, the current queen's grip on the kingdom must be at an all-time low. We wouldn't want to face any backlash from our little fireworks show, would we? For For the final stage, they must lower stability to 1 or less. The chiefs invent a new kind of super strong mead, making 500 wells. The other nobles get 200 wells from that. Oh, you can't tax them because they're in rebellion.
I'll just go through with this. I don't think it helps either way. I mean, I guess I could try to make you less defiant, since you're the only ones that are still around. That aren't in open rebellion.
Rebellion! The kingdom and the rebellion. Currently rebelling. On the verge of rebellion. Alright, we could rebel. Purple, don't rebel. I think we win if we don't rebel. Legitimately, I think we win at the end of this turn if we don't.
Double take. Your Majesty, the Counts are inviting you to the east to meet with them in person. I think it would go a long way towards smoothing your recent tensions.
We did it, Counts! I think this is it.
But there's a war on! Given the rebellion, it's more important than ever to keep the Counts sweet. If they were to join the rebels' side, you'd be doomed.
We literally would all be rebellion at that point.
You have no choice. This is what you must do. Very well, servants, prepare my things. You bid a fond goodbye to your husband. Goodbye, dear. Be careful out there. Next time when you cheat on me with a doppelganger of myself, at least that time you won't realize what you're doing.
Yes, you embark on the long, perilous journey to the east. After braving haunted forests and mud-churned roads, you reach your destination, the Black Spire. This is traditionally a place for diplomacy and talk of peace. It is a sacred ground where no blood can be spilled. Welcome, welcome! Take a seat by the fire, your grace. Can I get you a drink, says Martin the Pretender. It's funny that we're doing a doppelganger scheme when I'm Martin the Pretender.
Yes! And red wine would go down nicely.
A glass of red wine is brought to you. Your northern warriors take their seats behind you, watching Count Martin the Pretender carefully. Actually, your grace, I had something I wanted to speak to you about alone.
My honor guard will stay put.
I'm sorry, but I simply must insist. The Count Martin the Pretender yanks down a lever, cleverly disguised as candlestick. A giant trapdoor swings open beneath your honor guard. They drop down into the darkness below without even enough time to scream.
What are you doing?
Can you feel that rushing through the room, stirring your cloak? It's the winds of change!
A dozen Eastern Knights burst through the door and seize you roughly. A blade is pressed against your throat.
Your grace, there's someone I want you to meet. You hear soft footsteps as curtain parts, and you are suddenly confronted by yourself.
Well, aren't you a stunner?
Well, aren't you a stunner?
The voice is almost, but not quite, identical to your own. A little too nasal.
Do you like it? It took a year of training to get the voice right.
You'll never get away with this.
I'm willing to roll the dice. Men! The Eastern Knights holding your hostage bundle you toward the door. Quick, we must make sure her body won't be discovered. A bag is stuffed over your head and your arms tied behind your back. You're loaded onto a mule like a sack of grain. As you jolt around on the mule, you have plenty of time to contemplate your upcoming demise. It's funny, the kingdom won't even notice you're gone. Perhaps Torgeir will realize, but by then it'll be too late. You'll already be dead. When the bag is whipped off your head, you find yourself standing over a mist-shrouded waterfall.
Better than being burned
far
alive.
below the white water churns and seethes. Any last words?
May the seventh god feast upon your eyeballs in hell.
Count Martin the Pretender takes a step back and kicks you nonchalantly off the edge. Eats a long way down. Your screams are drowned out by the thundering water. Long live the new queen. Same as the old queen. Seeing double. Nobody would ever know that the queen had been replaced by an imposter. It isn't mentioned in history books. Only the counts know, and they took the secret to their graves. The chiefs, led by Creative Burst, launched a rebellion that accomplished nothing besides distracting the queen while cunning schemers took the throne. The grandees continued to throw accusations of witchcraft and heresy at their enemies. Everyone gradually learned to ignore them. The count's doppelganger was in power long enough to name Fran as her heir before meeting her own unfortunate end. The count's grip on the crown was secure, for now. Wait, the monarch is Queen Mark II, the changeling, because it was the replace.
Yes.
What are we reading if it's not in the history book, Franzi? Or I don't even know.
I don't know.
Successor is Monarch Fran of the Eastern Legacy. The changeling. That's great.
I tried to make things stable.
It was actually really stable for a while, and everybody had low unrest against you until you let the beast rampage in the north, and then that started a chain of to try to stop the north from winning by having low unrest, which started a chain of bad things that just kept negative.
Yes.
And the thing that really got you is that we all were so bad. We all had such low stats that the Chancellor yelled at you and gave us 2 extra unrest.
Yes.
Because if that hadn't happened, we never would have gotten 5. Maybe the rebellion would have won. It was close, though. I think the North was this close to winning on a rebellion,
Yeah.
probably because they had yellow with them.
Well, I was just like, how do I survive? After like, halfway through the game, was just like, how do I even survive?
Yes.
When you got the stability goal, I think that was the down stability. I think that was death.
Well, I thought it was death for us, but we were actually able to work together with other people to lower stability. The counts went against the odds every time because we lowered stability, and then what did we do? We did everything that was like the opposite
Yeah,
of
you
what
had to
was
lower
easy.
stability, and then you had to make your own defiance high.
But what we have to do before that, our starting thing wasn't easy either.
Your starting thing wasn't awful though.
I think it was still the opposite of what somebody
Yeah.
else was trying to do. So.
I forget
Oh
what it
no,
was.
we had to get our own. Oh no, I know what it was.
Yeah,
we had to get our own
Defiance
down.
And then
but
you
it was very
afterwards,
easy
and then
to
you
raise
yeah,
defiance
and
by
then you
just
had to get it back up. Yeah.
getting it up is a little easier because doing the things that other people want will raise it. But the problem is the only people who want your defiance to be down are
is
your
you.
own faction, and so it's doubly incentivized.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us,
Yeah.
everybody. Let's go ahead and say goodbye to you two.
Bye, you two.
Bye, you two.
See you next
See you next time.
Wow.